Hey, welcome to Escape from Tarkov. And if I had to guess, you're probably broke. So let's talk about the guns that you should be using during the early wipe and budget guns that you can use for the next few weeks. Okay, so we're going to be talking about early game budget guns and what's going to be effective early game. So the first thing I'm going to say is when you very first start out, if you pick a USEC or if you pick a bear, you're going to have M4s or you're going to have AKs. Early game, these type of weapons aren't going to be very good because you don't have good ammo for these weapons and you don't have the recoil control to make it viable. So the best weapon in my opinion is probably going to be your SMGs. Now I'm saying SMGs because number one, at the beginning of the wipe, not pretty much no one's going to be wearing any type of high tier armor. Probably going to only really see people wearing a max of level 4 armor, but other than that, they're going to be wearing level 3, level 2, or no armor at all. So the first weapon I'm going to say is your Keter. Now your Keter is a cheap weapon. You can get it off of Proper, and you can get it with loyalty level number 1 for 21, about 21,000. All right. The Keter itself, you can also get if you're doing a scav on one of your scav runs, or you can pick it up off a dev scav. Now, the modding of the Keter is going to be relatively simple. You don't need anything special. You don't need to have a silencer. You don't need to have anything at all, really. You can just rock the iron sights and have the 30 round magazines. But if you do want to put a mount on there, then you can just put one of these little mounts here, just the PP19 rotor mount, and then go grab you a PKO6, which is really cheap. I believe it sells for skier loyalty level number 1 for like 4,000 to 5,000 rubles. And if you really want to get froggy, you can go and get yourself a flashlight, and you can put a flashlight/laser on the bottom. These flashlight here, you can usually pick up off of scavs when you're doing your raids. You kill a scav, and they normally have these type of flashlight/lasers on their weapons. So you can just take those and use those for later on. Otherwise, you're going to have to get them from traders, or if you have the flea market unlocked. This by itself is pretty good, all just like this. Now, if you can get it, get you a Keter that has a silencer on it. Then the only difference between these two Keters is that one has a silencer and one doesn't. So put them side by side. A little bit of a recoil difference and a little bit of an ergo difference, but the only thing that's going to be different essentially is going to be your silencer. Now, if you go and try to mod the silenced Keter, you can see right here that you can't really mod it at all. You can put your 30 rounds, you can put your 20 rounds on magazines. No pistol grips, nothing to do with the butt stock. You still can't put anything on here, unlike the unsilenced Keter, where you're able to put a mount or a front sight and the possible flashlight/laser. With the silenced Keter, you're going to have only your iron sights. So the next weapon I'm going to talk about is going to be your PP19. Now, a PP19, you can get it on your scavs. You can also find it in weapons boxes. Great weapon. It shoots 9mm. And just by itself right now, you got a really good low recoil and a decent ergo on it. But with just a little bit of effort with modding your PP19, you can actually drop that recoil down considerably and make it more manageable. All you really need to do to mod this weapon is just put on this B10, B19, whatever, upper handguard here. That'll allow you to put on a sight of your choice. So even if you want to put on that front sight and then find yourself a cheap handguard. I mean, even if you put an RK6 or maybe like a little stubby or even an angle grip, so a little bit of something is going to go a long, long ways. If you are lucky enough to be able to find a butt pad or get a butt pad, put a butt pad on there that drops your vertical recoil considerably. But if you look at this already, you're already at a 61 ergonomics and a 39 vertical recoil. This thing is a freaking laser beam. This is all you need to do. Shoot for the face. Most people aren't going to be having any face shields at all. The only face shields that I would be seeing are going to be on scab bosses, the guards for scab bosses. So if you go against Rashala, his guards, if they have a face shield, you're going to have a little bit of a time trying to get it. But other than that, if they do have a face shield, you pretty much can just leg them because you got a 30 round magazine and you can just leg meta them. Now, if you wanted to put a silencer on there, a lot of people, or a lot of times, you're going to see this this Vityaz silencer on there, which gives you takes away a little bit of your ergonomics and drops your recoil down just a little bit. Later on, when you complete tasks, you'll get a fully kitted out PP19. It's gonna be really sick. I suggest using that for as long as you can. The ammo is cheap. You can find the 9mm ammo on scavs, or you can get it on your scav run. Real easy. Other thing that you could do, just change this. The dust cover, so that your sight can be moved back here. You can put an easy sight on the back here. Really good ergonomics, really good recoil, shoots like a laser. So barters for the PP19. You can get a full kitted PP19 from mechanic level 1. And it's only going to cost you a roller and a GP coin. If you look at it, you're going to have a 56 ergonomics and a 37 vertical recoil. This thing is legit a laser beam. The other barter you can do for a PP19 is just these T-plugs. 4 T-plugs get you just the base level PP19. And as you can see right now, it doesn't have the 37 recoil, but it has a 45 recoil and the 59 ergonomics. Still, just base weapon, great stats, and it's going to be a straight laser beam. So the next weapon we're going to be talking about is your UMP-45s. UMP-45 is a great budget gun in my opinion, and you can use that through early game, through late game, just because of the damage that the 45 ammo can do. The base gun itself has a 55 ergonomics and a 48 recoil, which is not too bad for just the base. You can still use it and it can be controllable, but with just a little bit of modding, you can make the stats just that much better. All you have to do really is just find, you can put a little stubby on there, or you can put a RK6. If you're lucky enough to find anything better than these, like an RK2, RK1, or RK5, then by all means use those. One of the things that I know that I've used on mine is just this angle grip. It's worked great. No problems with that at all. The other thing that is great about this weapon is that it already has come with the rail. You don't have to put anything up here. So it's really easy to go and just get yourself an optics and a little red dot or whatever and just put it there. The one thing you want to be careful is that front sight post, because sometimes if your optic isn't high enough, that front sight post is going to be getting in your field of view. So you can be get a riser and be able to put things on risers to bring up your optic a little bit, so it's not getting so the front sight post will be out of view. Just this in itself, you got a 58 ergonomics and a 46 recoil. It's still not bad. Most of the time, you're going to be running FMJs in the mag, and then if you can't destroy armor with an SMJ, you can leg meta and just destroy anybody. It doesn't matter what type of armor they're wearing. Just leg meta them, take anybody down. Really want to get frisky and add a suppressor on there. Bam, add a suppressor. It takes you down to a 37 recoil. This thing is an absolute laser beam and is great for early wipe gunfights. So one of the barters for the UMP that I would suggest doing, which is a really easy barter to do, is go to Peacekeeper, go Peacekeeper level 1. You trade 7 of the black handle knives and you can get a UMP. As you can see already that a lot of people are doing that because it's out of stock, and it's usually out of stock a lot of the times that I'm looking for. So the other barter is mechanic level 1. It would be a DVD, HDD, and 2 caps. This is a relatively easy barter to do. A lot of people aren't doing this barter, so the UMP 45 is pretty much always in stock here. In addition to that, you don't see a lot of people picking up DVDs, HDDs, or caps while you're going on your scav runs. So these are items that you can easily find because people just don't pick them up. In addition, the ammo, if we go to loyalty level 1 on Peacekeeper, is only $1 per bullet. Real cheap, unlimited amount. Get as much as you want. You can get a 30 round mag for $26 from Peacekeeper. Or if you have like the flea market unlocked, then you go to the flea market and get it for rubles instead. So the other guns that I'm going to talk about are the SKSs. SKSs are extremely OP in early wipe gunfights. Now you're going to be able to get these off of your scabs. You're going to get them off of dead scabs. You're going to find them in weapons crates. They're just everywhere early wipe. A lot of times, even if you bring them in on your PMC and you don't do anything fancy with them and you insure them, you're pretty much going to get them back in insurance because no one loots these things because you see them everywhere. The one thing you really want to make sure is like if you do pick it up off a scav, or you get it off of your scav run, you want to make sure to keep an eye on the durability, because the durability is going to, if it gets down too low, it's going to cause problems and jam up on you. These guns in themselves is not hard to find, and they're relatively cheap. They're relatively cheap to buy from the traders. As you can see, an OP SKS is only 33,000 rubles from Jaeger. And I believe the brown SKS here, level 1, is 21,000. So these SKSs come with an internal 10-round magazine, which is great because you can just top load it. And you don't have to worry about anything else. The only problem is that when you shoot all 10 rounds, well, now you got to wait for your gun to get reloaded. And sometimes you need that to be a little bit faster than your guy just putting one bullet in at a time. Now, both guns are able to have a suppressor put on. And most people will suppress the SKS. Not, early wipe, not all the time because you don't have the suppressor. But if you have a suppressor and you want to use it by all means. I personally believe that an SKS suppressed is probably one of the most quieter long range weapons snipers that I like to use. Even though it's not considered a sniper, it's considered, I believe, an assault rifle, but I use it as a sniper. The other thing about the difference between these two is that the brown SKS, you cannot put optics on. You can put the 20 round, 30 round magazine in it, and you can put a suppressor on it, but you can't put any optics. That's why if you can grab an OP SKS, grab an OP SKS. Otherwise, just, suck it up with that until you can get one. Now, with the OP SKS, you're going to be able to get, a lot of them come with it, come with this attached. It's a dovetail mount. The dovetail mount just goes right on, and it allows you to put on mounts and put other optics onto this gun. So a lot of the times, if you find it, you can get a PSO scope and just throw it right onto the gun, and you got yourself an instant sniper. If you're like me, you like to get like what is this? You like to get one of these here dovetail mounts, little high rise. You stick that on there, and then usually what I'll do, and I'll do this throughout the whole wipe if I want to go in for sniping, if I want to go for long distance shots, I'll just go get me a quick optic. I'll put it on there, and I have me a silent sniper rifle for relatively cheap. But probably the most expensive part on this whole gun is going to be that that optic. The one of the other guns I wanted to talk about are shotguns. Shotguns are OP in early wipe gameplay. People are not wearing good armor. And just like, you know, your SMGs, even if they are wearing good armor, they're wearing a face shield or whatever, you can leg meta them. One of the better ammos to use in shotguns is the machete. It tears up armor, and it destroys flesh damage. If you can't get AP, that's fine. But even in early wipes, first few weeks of Tarkov, Magnum buckshot or Magnum ammo is going to be really good, and just normal buckshot is still going to be good. So do not sleep on the shotguns, because you can find them everywhere. You can find them on scavs. You can get them off of your scav runs, and it's just like a plethora of ammunition. You shouldn't have to buy buckshot ever, because you'll find it on scavs on pretty much every run. Now, one other weapon that I wanted to talk about is the VPO Pepper Hunter. You can get these off of scavs, and you can get them off your scav runs. These are legitimate, pretty decent, versatile weapons, and they shoot one of the best ammos in the game. But it is shooting your M80s, your M61s, M62s. I believe if you're a USEC and you have one of the ammos that you get in your starting package is a bunch of M80s, that will work in these VPOs. And these weapons are easily modded. All you gotta do is take a PSO, and there you go, you got it. That's it. Ensure this weapon, because majority of PMCs that kill you, or if you get killed, they won't take these Pepper Hunters. So you're almost guaranteed to get it back anytime that you die. So there you go. That's going to be my suggestions for early game, early wipe, budget guns, if you will, guns that you should be using right off the bat before you level up and be able to mod your weapons to more meta type of guns. But these are probably going to be the best performing firearms for early game, and the best budget guns that you can probably get. Save your rubles and level up your hideout, and just use these budget guns.